Now we're going to turn our attention towards Everton. Now, a group of international investors led by London-based businessman Vakhtay Manukian have become the latest consortium to bid to buy Everton. Now, Roma's billionaire American owner Dan Friedking is also reportedly in talks about an offer to buy the Premier League club. Now, British millionaires and lifelong Everton fans Andy Bell and George Downing have also tabled a bid. Now, before we check in with our guests, let's hear from financial football expert Stefan Borson, who told us the latest on the takeover situation.
Andy Bell and George Downing being the leading party in the bidding right now. But I think it may be that Bell is keener, and therefore Downing would take a smaller piece. And of course, there will be other people in the background that will also be part of their consortium. But they will also recognise, as fans of Everton, that there needs to be a solution for the club, and it can't go on like this. They've somehow got through last season on the back of £200 million, or probably a bit more, of funding from 777, and that is not going to be repeatable. And they also probably will not have the space and the breathing space to get in bed with another bidder who is not going to get through the ownership test very quickly. They will need somebody who is a first-class bidder, who will pass the tests comfortably. If they can be a regulated person in the way that Andy Bell is, all the better. And they need somebody with decent-sized pockets. And it needs to happen now relatively quickly.
Stefan Borson with some strong words there. We're going to welcome in Ellis Nordhoff from the Toffee Blues podcast. Thanks for joining us, Ellis. 777 now out of the picture. Are you happy that they're no longer involved now?
Hi, lads. Well, now 777 are out of it. It's something that we expected, that we've seen coming for months. And this really is just confirmation of something that Evertonians have seen coming for quite a while now. And it had dragged on for too long. It was getting to 9 months, and it did collapse on the 31st of May. And I think now Evertonians just want something to happen soon, I suppose. And now we're seeing new interest. And I think overall Blues are just pleased because there was a lot of concerns about 777. And now we're seeing fresh interest from numerous parties as well. And Evertonians know that our club deserve that. So I think fans are just pleased that we're starting to see people interested in our club who we know is such a prized asset.
Yeah. In terms of who your favoured bidder would be, do you have a favoured bidder, or is it more about the criteria of the type of bidder is what you're looking for now?
Well, I think ultimately we can speculate all we want, but we don't truly know what any owner would be like until they're actually in the building. So I think obviously Andy Bell and George Downing are Evertonians, and they would have that fan base's trust. Just the fact that they are Blues would give us some confidence. And of course, we've heard as well that they have links to Michael Dell's family office. We don't know exactly how involved he would be, but if Bell and Downing are backed by him, then obviously that's exciting. Vakhtay Manukian, you mentioned before, there's a bid in now for him, and the rumours are that he's got links to a Saudi royal, American investors, but the question with him is, has he got the football experience? So once again, it's a wait and see on that front. It seems now John Textor's out of the running. He did have a 45% stake in Palace, which he'd have to sell first, so he is probably one that isn't really going to be involved, but it's hard to pick a preferred option when we don't know everything about them yet.
How hard is this as a fan base? Because obviously you're embarking on another crucial summer. It's been a few years of disruption now, massively for Everton. How much does this put a strain on the fan base? Kind of everything being up in the air, and not really knowing what kind of condition your club's going to be in going into the season.
Well, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because of course the closed season is all about looking forward to the next season, seeing that prosperity, and starting to think, oh, what can we dream about ahead of that next season? And obviously Evertonians just want some clarity on it now, and it will take a while. Of course, whoever gets the exclusivity agreement with Farhad Moshiri this time has to go past the fit and proper owners test, don't they? So that would have to go through as well. So Evertonians aren't expecting this to be fixed quickly, but I think fans just want some direction. They want a fresh start with experienced football operators coming in and just building some solid foundations, because you can't truly go anywhere as a club without a solid base to build off. And we see this brand new stadium on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey, and we really want to believe in that and believe in Everton's future. So I think Evertonians are frustrated at the moment, just purely at feeling impatient because we've been waiting for so long, but hopeful that the next investor is the right one to restore the glories from 85, 87, 95.
Ellis, from listening to you talk there, I can feel the parallels with yourself and at Manchester United in terms of what we went through in terms of who's going to be the minority stakeholder, and it ended up being Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, and was it going to be Qatar? Is it not? It's this, it's that. There's a twist and a turn, and now you're right about the foundations that need to be set. How are you feeling about the overall state of the club heading into this summer? There's loads of stories about you might have to sell players, and you don't know who, like you said, what's going to happen with the owners and who's going to be able to bid and be successful. And there's stories about players needing to be sold by the 30th of June. How do you feel about the overall state of it?
Well, I think there's a lot of conjecture about what we do or don't have to do this summer. We don't know this yet either, but one thing for sure, it's really a quiet summer at Everton, so we expect a lot to happen, and I'm really hoping that the 30th of June thing isn't something that we have to sell Jarrad Branthwaite for. Yeah. It may be the case that we have to sell a player, and I would probably prefer that to be Amadou Onana. He seems to be a player that wants to leave, perhaps, and someone like Jarrad Branthwaite is a player who just gives Evertonians hope for their club in general. The fact that a player like that can come through, we'd love to hold on to him, but I just know that there's going to be interest. There's going to be interest in a few players, and for us, it's about selling the ones that we have to, but keeping hold of the assets like Branthwaite, who we could perhaps prize more money out of if we had to sell later on in the window, because this June the 30th date is frustrating. I personally believe that the PSR deadline should not be the 30th of June. I think it should be the end of the transfer window, because really almost,
soon, isn't it?
It's a financial deadline day here. It's weird.
I mean, I'm watching my team go through the same thing. Villa, they seem to be desperately trying to shift Douglas Luiz before June the 30th. He was like one of Villa's best players last season. We should be looking forward to the new season and being in the Champions League, but these rules are making it very, very difficult. Just on Branthwaite, I was saying earlier that for me, I think he was the best fit next to John Stones for England this summer, and obviously he hasn't been called up into the squad at all. How do you feel as an Everton fan about that? Are you quite pleased that actually he won't be showcasing his talents for the world to see?
I think everybody knows about him already. I'm sure Pep knows about him at Manchester City. I'm so sure Man United know about him. We know that he does. Yeah. So I think having him there would have been great to see as an Evertonian, and he has been really wrongly left out. He should have been in that team. And I look at the centre-backs now that Gareth Southgate's got at his disposal, and I don't think they've got the quality that Jarrad Branthwaite has. So he is so unlucky to miss out. But I suppose, like you say, we can just keep him a bit more under wraps, but I think there's going to be interest regardless.
Or, Ellis, is it sort of more time now for Manchester United, now he's not at the Euros, to sort of have a chat to the agent, have a chat to the people at Everton, see what sort of price you want? Jarrad's waiting patiently, Is it more negotiating time now?
Don't accept this. Flex talking like Manchester United, this big juggernaut in the Premier League going to take players from teams. Absolutely not.
Actually, my actual question is, Ellis, to be honest, the truthful question, right, is what is the price? Because like you said, you do want to hang on to him, but what is the sort of figure you would put down to say, in the situation that Everton are in, we can't afford to turn X amount down or Y amount down?
Well, I'll start by saying Man United fans are pretty brave to be thinking that he'd want to come there at the moment.
That's exactly.
United
I bet he would.
So yeah, Jarrad Branthwaite is a top professional and a top player, and a player that's so unique in his kind. He's left-footed. He's 6'5". He's a powerhouse. He's a really solid defender. So we'd be demanding upwards of 70 million, and I wouldn't want him to go for anything less. And for me, I'm expecting a bidding war. I want to see multiple clubs go in for him if we do have to sell him. But really, Jarrad Branthwaite is such a top pro that I think he'd be happy to stay at Everton as well.
I do. Yeah, you do see. It seems like he's got a good temperament. He's a patient kid. He's when I saw him play against United at Old Trafford, and that's the first time I saw him in person, I was really impressed how quick he can get across the ground, how well he reads situations. Like you say, he's left-footed, but played very comfortably off both feet, goes and engages high up, not afraid to go and do that. He definitely looks like he can make the step up. You're never sure. Obviously, you got to wait and see, but he does look fantastic, doesn't he, Dan?
I think too many players make a move too early, and I personally, for his development, think the best thing would be to stay at Everton. You could argue Everton haven't really been a stable club over the last few years, but actually what's happened for Branthwaite is he's had a stable partner next to him in Tarkowski and a stable manager as well. So I think another year at Everton won't do him any harm at all. And it's good that you've got people standing up to you now as a Manchester United fan, this cartel that think they can just come round and take players off of the teams.
But money talks. If Man United sat 80 million down and offered Jarrad Branthwaite 170 million,
I'd be surprised if you had 80 million to spend.
We'll
very surprised.
We'll find it. Ellis, in terms of the manager, Sean Dyche, he's done what Sean Dyche does, hasn't he? In terms of make sure that you don't get relegated, make you solid at the back. We just spoke about the back line there with Tarkowski next to Jarrad Branthwaite, and I was looking at your clean sheets record and the amounts of goals conceded, and you're up there in terms of how well you've performed. How good of a job has he done considering the stipulations you've been under, Sean Dyche?
Well, in terms of points accumulated, we'd be on 48 at the end of this season. We'd be 11th in the league, very close to the likes of Brighton. So exactly. I think the points deduction does overshadow what, in terms of points, has been quite a good season. And it's been such a disruptive season as well that you can't truly judge it. And like you mentioned, the clean sheet record's fantastic. Jarrad Branthwaite's part of one of the best defences in the league. Yeah. And I think Sean Dyche he's come in, he's done the basics right, and he's kept everyone's heads level at a really difficult time. He's very good at not getting too high at the high moments and not getting too low at the difficult points, and he's just kept everyone level-headed. And while we had a terrible run in the middle of the season where it was no wins in 13, he then helped us get back up. And that week, oh my God, when we beat Liverpool and we won 3 games in a week, that week just kept us safe. And he deserved that. The players deserved that. They all pulled together. And I think Sean Dyche deserves a lot of credit for what he's done.
Yeah, he does. Ellis Nordhoff from the Toffee Blues podcast. Thank you for joining us there. You're listening to The Social on TalkSport2.